Hi guys, welcome back to Ollie Talks Airsoft. Today I'm going to be talking about the cheapest torch that you can get in Airsoft. So, I don't know what brand this is. I got it from eBay. It cost about £8. Bought it maybe 5 years ago, and it still works. End of review. There you go. That's all you need to know. Okay, all right. We'll go over some of the details of it. So, you can still find things really similar to this on eBay. They advertise to be about 200 lumen. I don't know if that's true or not. They seem pretty bright, and they're actually, for the price that you pay, the brightness is not terrible. So let's have a little look at the construction and what you actually get for your £8. You're not expecting much, I'm sure. So it is actually full aluminium construction. Everything about it is appears to be made of metal. There are no even these wings that move up and down as the attachment method. You'll probably recognise this from maybe an X300 style. If you've got something like this, you'll be familiar with these wings at the side and how you can attach this onto basically any Glock or anything that's got that little step in the front rail. You'll be able to attach this onto. This one looks like that, but as with a lot of these things, it's merely designed to look like that. It's not actually designed to function like that. And we'll come on to that in a second. I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. But finishing off, having a look at the construction of it, as I said, it's all aluminium. And then when we have a look at the actual, at the lens that we've got here, so I don't know if you can hear, but that's very, very cheap plastic, and it's very, very thin. I consider myself to be pretty lucky that I don't think this has ever actually taken a shot from a BB, because I don't think it would have survived. I think it would have just cracked the lens pretty quickly. But going on and having a little bit closer, you'll see that actually they've taken the time to dimple the reflector, which gives a more even throw and a more even spill. So it's good that they've done that. That shows that they have taken some care in doing this. And also, if I line this up correctly, you should see parts of it will go yellow, and this is where the reflector is reflecting directly back onto the LED. So that's a good sign that they've at least taken some care in order to try and make this a torch which is ultimately going to be relatively bright. So how much does this thing come in at? So let's bring over my trusty scales. So 94 grams, and this is what most people will have, 106 grams. That's very, very close. Okay, let's just, so I might as well show you how you take the battery out on this. Oops. So the head simply unscrews, battery tips out. Let's just see how much this weighs off pat. 78 grams. I'm curious now, guys. Let's see. Surely this has to weigh more. 75? Wow, okay. Didn't expect that. Yeah, okay, so yeah, this, well, I suppose you're paying for this one to be slightly lighter, I guess. I guess that's how they thought of it. Anyhow, right, let's get on with the functionality. So the way that this torch works is it has a little bar which pushes through from one side to the other. So when I push it, it turns on. When you push it from the other side, it turns off. So pretty intuitive, pretty simple to use, and it's nice, positive, audible clicks as well, which is nice. There are features about this that I really do think are probably above the price tag. It's also good that it does take a CR123, but for reasons I'll explain at the end, it's a blessing and a curse for this particular torch. So I talked about the fact that it's got this this part on the top as the attachment method, and you'll probably be really familiar with, you know, getting an X300 and putting it on like something like this Glock 18. This is a WE with no issue at all. If we try and do it, that's incredibly tight. That it kind of doesn't want to go. That's a hint as to the last problem. This kind of doesn't want to go on. It will. You can force it on, but it's going to take a screwdriver behind it to pry it off. So just know that when you get it. What is good though is once it is attached, you don't have to take the torch off in order to change the battery. So it can be attached onto the front of your gun like this, and then you can still change the battery out. So again, that's a nice feature. So it's like a disco in there, isn't it? So it will fit, but it's very, very tight. So next goes most common thing, probably your high capper. Again, you can see where it's been attached on here previously, and it scraped it down. So again, it will go on. There we go. Looks pretty badass as well. I think so. I think it looks pretty cool. But in order to get it off, I'm actually pushing with my finger as well as pulling these downwards and forwards. Quite a lot to do. Okay, Beretta. Again, it just doesn't even want to start on the rail, and it's just starting to chew it up. So, no go. And finally, this is going to represent anything that's just got a rail section on the front. And again, there. That's probably your best attachment and your best fit that you're going to get. On the others, it's incredibly tight. This one does have a little bit of movement, a little bit there, but compare that to the X300. This is one of the reasons that I prefer a B to an A. So if you can get a B with the thumb stud on an X300, it's preferable. Okay, so it's not really a head-to-head. We are just looking at this one. So this is going to kind of bring us on to the last couple of things. The biggest problem that I have with this is that you put it down and it will turn itself on. It's so easy to accidentally turn this on that I have blown through about 20 quid's worth of CR123 batteries in my bag. I used to always have this attached onto my torch. I was I was a bit of a slow learner, not to realise that I should always just take the battery out whenever you're transporting it. But even chucking it in a drawer, something would move and all of a sudden, ping, it would come on. And so I've got no idea about how long the batteries last on this, but I can tell you that I probably changed it. When I was using it, I was changing the batteries on it constantly. And never because of constant use, it was always because it was constantly just dying on me. So, my own fault, but I don't know, other torches are much less likely to do it, like this X300, these sort of things don't tend to do that as much. So, take of that what you will. Bear in mind that this costs about the same as 2 CR123A batteries. So I don't know, I guess you can weigh it up. Let's have a little look at the throw that you get off these then. So this is going to be your super cheap Chinese one, and this is going to be your X300 replica. So not too bad. Funnily enough, the X300 often doesn't want to turn off. So do it the other way around. And there you go. You can see it's a smaller it's a smaller hotspot on it. So what I'll do is I'm just going to move the camera and I'm going to back up and show you what it looks like from 10 feet away. So I'm still about 10 feet away, and this one here is the cheap, and this one here is the X300. So So the cheap one does have, it's got a really good spill on it, and it's really even. There isn't any, you can see a little bit of haloing, but not much at all, and quite a decent hotspot really. Whereas the X300, I can see quite a lot of haloing, and actually the spill isn't quite as good on it. So let's wrap up with my final thoughts on this. Is it worth it? Yeah, it is, 100%. If you're just getting into airsoft, the difference between having a torch and not having a torch is, pardon the pun, it's night and day. It's so obvious. So if you really are on a budget and you're worried that, you know, is it worth spending £8 or should I save £30 and get something a bit better? Well, I don't know. If you really are on a budget, this will do. It will do the job, and it will do it pretty well. And actually, if it does get shot out, I think most people would say, oh, well, it was under £10, so it's not that bad. And hey, you might even be able to get a piece of Lexan to put over the top of it, which could increase the life and mean that it could deflect a few BB shots off. But my last piece of advice for this would be, don't forget, if you get one of these, take the battery out unless you're using it. Otherwise, it's just going to cost you a fortune. So learn from my mistakes on that, please. Anyway, hopefully you found this video interesting or useful. If you have, leave a like, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and also a big thank you to my subscribers already. It means a lot. Thanks, guys. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks.